Debate in Israel today between those who don't want to go to the army and be in a cocoon of like-minded people versus those who serve and are fully integrated in the Israeli society goes back all the way to the debate and, shall we say, hatred between Joseph and his brothers. You see, Joseph is the viceroy in Egypt, and the brothers come down to see him there. And it says, he recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And the commentaries say, why? Because he left at 17 without a beard, and now at 30 he had a beard. Actually, at 39 he had a beard. Come on, 22 years? 17 is already kind of mature to an extent. He's meant to be this gorgeous man, looks exactly like his mother, Fei Toyer, Fei Mara. He's a gorgeous looking fellow. And wouldn't that have piqued their interest? He is their brother. They could see his body language. They could feel his tone, his voice. To say that they didn't recognize him is very strange. And so the answer the Chassidus gives is they couldn't imagine the possibility that their brother is viceroy in Egypt. Not only because it's crazy, they sold him as a slave, he's going to be the viceroy. Come on, it's like, it doesn't translate within your mind. But it's not just that. It goes to how they saw the world. Actually, it goes to their whole debate. What was the issues that they had with each other? So we know that they were shepherds. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were shepherds, and so were the brothers. The question is, the fascinating thing is that in Joseph's first dream of last week's Torah portion, he says, we were tying sheaves. Well, that's not shepherds that's not shepherds, that's farmers. And that wasn't what they were doing. So why does he have a dream about sheaves, which is agriculture? And the answer is that indeed was the debate between him and the brothers. His brothers felt that as Jews, we have to be removed from society. We have to be removed from the world. The best job for that in those times was being a shepherd. It's like today's fisherman, if you'd like. You could go out when you want, you let the sheep graze, and you could sit and meditate on the beauty of nature and the greatness of the God who creates it all. We have many depictions of these young shepherd boys in the time of the Baal Shem Tov who were ecstatic in their connection and feelings towards God. And they would sit in the field and play their flute or their violin with feelings of connectedness. Why? Because they weren't totally engrossed and busy in working. They were just watching sheep. The farmer is actually a slave, if you'd like, to the land. He's got to wake up before sunrise. He's got to make sure to water the plants and the trees and the produce before the hot sun comes out. He has to plow at the time of plowing. He has to sow at the time of sowing, etc., etc. He has to worry about the weather. He has to worry about storms or illness that affects the produce and so on. He's actually totally consumed by the land. And it's interesting, that's why Joseph says to them, you're like spies. What he's hinting at is they were the forerunners to the spies in the desert who we know didn't want to go to Israel for that very reason. In the desert, they could be like shepherds. In other words, they were in a state of spiritual bliss. Going to the land of Israel, where you have to work the land and become agricultural experts and involved totally in that field, they felt would disconnect them from their spirituality. And so Joseph, the brothers, they felt that a Jew, being a unique nation, a nation that stands separate and different, has to work in a different way. It cannot be doing what everyone else is doing and remain who they are. Joseph disagreed. Joseph said, God sends our souls into this world to be part of the world, to integrate into the world, to work in this world, and together with that, to stand higher. It's like the oil of Hanukkah. Oil permeates everything that it touches, but yet stands separate. It always floats to the top. I think I told the story last year of a fellow who told me his father was in the army, the Australian Army, in the Royal Australian Air Force actually, and he was a squadron leader. And one time, someone outed him as being Jewish, and since when everyone found out he was Jewish, they wouldn't eat with him, they wouldn't sit in the mess hall with him. They kind of were separate to him, but yet they wanted him to lead them in battle. They said, "You go ahead of us. You lead us. We're going to trust your leadership, but you're not one of us." That's why when Joseph eats, and we read in the portion, that when Joseph has them over for a meal, they set the food for them separate, for Joseph separate, and for the Egyptians who worked with him separately. Now we can understand why they were separate to Joseph. The brothers are separate to Joseph because officially you don't know who they are. They could be a danger. But why the Egyptians were separate to him? These are the people working with him. Joseph was fully integrated, but remained like oil, separated above, floating higher. And so this was their absolute debate, and the debate was so intense that there was actually hatred because of it, because they felt that he is putting down their way of seeing their purpose, and that brought hatred, because if I have no purpose, there can't be anything more demoralizing. That I have a worldview of how my life is meaningful by being a shepherd, and you're totally negating it. That's where that was the core source and of the cause of their fight, and brought terrible results, as we see in Israel as well now. That's the issue there as well. There are those who feel we can't be integrated, we're going to lose our identity. Others will say, no, we could be integrated and retain our identity, and not only that, be a guide, give to society, and not be affected by society. It's harder, you have to be a Joseph, but ultimately, isn't that the ultimate purpose? That's the debate. It still rages on. The answer is, well, some people are like this and some people are like that. First of all, within a community, you need the Kohanim, you need the priests, you need those who remain above and separate completely. And you need those who integrate, who are involved. And the ones who are separate are meant to be the guides and the teachers, and the one to keep the others in the right path. So you do have room for the Torah studiers and the people who integrate and are involved and fully engrossed in material life and the reality of the world. Now, what's the divide? What's the split? How many of each? Well, obviously, the majority is not the tribe of Levi. The majority of those who have to be involved in this world. But it's interesting to see the source where it comes from, to have this dichotomy, this debate, and more this fight. And the real answer is yesh v'yesh. It depends on the characteristic that God has given you. The majority of people have to be integrated, others not. And so, as I said in the past, Torah study, if those who actually are studying Torah all the time, by all means, they should remain Torah studiers. But those who are not studying Torah have an obligation to protect the land, to get involved, to be involved if you're able to be involved in the world in computers and science and other areas of life, you should be able to be also involved in safeguarding and protecting the land you're in, and to do so with strength, with the ability to remain above. It helps when you have Hasidic teaching. Then it inculcates you. It gives you it inoculates you to negative forces, to negative possible influence, and so that you can remain strong and be like Joseph, be in Egypt but not affected by Egypt. Good Shabbos.